Hello, everyone.
We'll give it a minute or two, maybe a minute, waiting for a few people to get online with us. We're excited for this. This topic has been coming at us at all angles. Excited to get in with you guys for a discussion.
So the topic of today is the illusion of death and how it's used to control us and keep us small. And we were just having this discussion and wanted to share a few ideas with you guys.
Yes, let's give it maybe 20
We're
seconds
in our
or
beautiful
so.
backyard in Austin. Just wanted to share this vibe with you guys. This is where we hang out pretty much in the evenings.
Hi everybody, welcome in. This is a topic that has, love you too. This has been a topic coming at us for the past couple of days. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so for people to come in. The illusion of death and how this is the biggest Luciferian 3D matrix construct, the biggest trick, the biggest illusion that planet Earth has been pumped with to keep us small, to keep us controlled, to keep us in all these wrong beliefs. Hello everybody. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Where are you guys streaming in from? Do you want to get into it?
Sure.
All right, let's get right in.
So the real fact of the matter is that we are immortal beings. We are once we are existing. We are in existence. That means we can never cease to exist. We are an extension of Source, and Source is infinite. So, oh, there's a dog next door. So we were having this discussion why they place so much emphasis on the topic of death in the Matrix. Like this is a very common phrase that's used in the Matrix that it goes like, the two things you cannot avoid is death and taxes. And every single person, would you agree that you believe that if you're born you have to die? Would you agree with that? Do you guys believe
I love that
if we are born that we have to die?
Do you
Or
seriously
do you have
comment and
other
let us
beliefs?
know? Do you have a
We'd
belief
love to
system?
hear from you.
Do you have a belief system? I just bought my hoodie. My goodness. I even made a story. I just bought it. I love it. I fell in love with it. It was love at first sight. So do you guys have the belief? Markaba, please let the dog stop barking. Do you guys have a belief that that if you are born into this life that you will die? Do you have a belief that you will die? That is what this video is about. So when I was in school, I remember there was this, in some, I don't know, history lesson or whatever, they programmed us to say, okay, the average lifespan of the Homo sapien is 60 years old. And even back then I thought that makes no sense. Like 60 years old, my goodness, I want to at least live till 100. And that's what they've done. Do you know why, guys? Do you know why they say 60 years? Because when I say they, I'm talking about the negative ETs, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, the deep state.
Controlled opposition.
Yes, the controlled opposition. You know what what they want to do is they want to keep us when we are at our prime, when we're working, when we're smart, intellectually, physically, emotionally. And the minute we started wearing off at like 60, when they pump us with all the fertilizers and the chemicals and the poisons and the vaccines and everything, they want to put us off at 60. And this is the biggest trap, because they know that by stopping us from believing that we can go past 60 or 70 or 80 or 100 or whatever, 110 at most.
Or infinite.
No, but they're programming us to believe that there is some expiry date. True. I really want you to soak this up. We're all programmed to believe, like my dad, I remember he passed away at age 59, but all his life he had this belief that why bother not smoking? I'm going to live till 60 or 70 at most anyway. I might as well die smoking and drinking and enjoying life. And that is the belief. I really want you guys to take this in, because it'll give you a breakthrough. It's the belief that we will die that makes many of us invest in so many addictions and lower fantasies and lower distractions.
Yeah.
It's this belief that life is short. And anything else you'd like to add on this?
Yeah, basically the reason the controlled matrix pumps this fear that we have to die and doesn't help, no part of the system ever helps us realize that we are infinite beings. They're always pushing the agenda of fear that we are we have an expiry date and that we have a very short life and the golden years within our life are only a couple decades. But the biggest reason they push this agenda on us is to prevent our ascension, because ascending in a physical body makes you immortal.
Actually, I'm being told to explain this a little bit to our
Correct.
Facebook audience. So what is Siman talking about? Some of you are familiar with the terminology of ascension. Some of you are familiar with what is ascension really. Does anyone here know what is ascension? So why are we here at this time-space reality as light workers having such a massive awakening? Why is the whole world awakening right now? What is the reason? Why are we awakening right now just when we are at the cusp of moving away from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius? Why are so many powerful light workers here on planet right now ready to be the torch bearers of this ascension of humanity? Why don't we explain to them what is ascension and what are the infinite possibilities of ascension?
Right. So we're actually at the cusp of one of the most exciting times in the history of this universe. Because in fact, we've just completed a 25,000 year cycle where we're going into a new cycle of time in regards to our solar system. Then our galaxy, our entire galaxy is also going into a new time cycle. It has just completed a approximately 250 million year cycle.
In the dark age. Now, how long of it
No,
was
the
in the dark?
galaxy spirals around the great central sun for 250 million years.
How long has Earth been in like severe darkness?
For the last 15,000 years or so.
Wow.
Actually, 25,000 years was the point in Atlantis when the Luciferian rebellion began, and that's since then we've been infiltrated by all of these controlling thoughts and limiting beliefs and the dismantling of our DNA from 12 strands to 2 strands. But before that, we were actually immortal beings. Before 25,000 years in the golden age of Atlantis, we had advanced crystal technologies, advanced healing technologies. There was no disease because we had the technology that could pretty much conquer and cure any disease. So these bodies are made to last forever. The only limit in our human bodies is when we were immortal, the only limit we had was, am I bored of this life and do I want to move on into a new bodysuit? Like when we are living on earth as ascended beings, which we were before and we will again, we are about to make that jump again where we live as immortal ascended beings. And in the
And
past,
how do we do that?
in the past in Atlantis, we literally used to have lives of 1,000 years. And this is something that is going to become possible again, not only because of medical breakthroughs and technological breakthroughs, but simply with the power of our minds.
And also, I just want to pause because these are big topics we're talking about. These are big things. Like what? Live for 1,000 years? Like, are you guys crazy? Many of us are raising our consciousness, our frequency, and as our consciousness is expanding, we're able to perceive truths that 2 years or 3 years or 5 years ago would have made us feel like, okay, that sounds ridiculous. You need to go to a mental hospital. But as our faculties within our DNA are opening up and our DNA is activating, we're literally realizing, holy shit, we are actually traversing the most exciting times. And if there's one lifetime where all the magic happens, it's this lifetime. I repeat, if there's one lifetime that you wanted to be on planet Earth for, it's this lifetime, because of the momentous change that we are all heralding by just raising our vibration, by doing our shadow work, by clearing our ancestral karma for your families. All of you are doing this. You are clearing your ancestral karma for your entire lineage of 7 to 10 generations by healing yourself. I really want you to soak that up. What is a light worker? A light worker who is someone, I'm channeling this right now, this definition is coming as I'm saying it. Who is a light worker? One definition of a light worker is that a light worker is someone who has taken a contract to feel pain and transmute it and get out of the matrix by healing themselves. I repeat, one definition of a light worker, and all of you are light workers. Every single person.
If you're tuning into this message, that means you're a frequential match, and that makes you a light worker.
You're a light worker. A light worker, to repeat, is someone who has a soul contract to come into this 3D incarnation, from an ascended state to come into this 3D incarnation and dive into and immerse themselves into 3D families, take on contracts of narcissism, take on contracts of abuse, rape, trauma, whatever it is, in order or stinginess or guilt or backbiting or whatever it is. Like, it can go from any range to any range, and then heal themselves so that they stop that chain of karma, they stop that toxic pattern. And with them healing themselves at this age right now, what have they done? They have now healed their entire lineage. This is actually what you guys are doing, whether or not you realize it. Many of you are realizing it. And right now, ancestral karma is being cleared at a stellar rate. So all this icky feelings you guys have, like, oh my God, it's so hard some days when you, like, life really seems to get really hard. Remember what you're doing. You are healing your whole family's karma, and this is it so that your children don't have to go through the same karma, so that you end it with you and your children can be part of the ascending new earth rather than the old earth that was full of these matrix constructs.
Yeah, and we're also currently going through some major stellar activation cycles. And what are stellar activation cycles? There are, like, we have a triple Stargate portal this year called, which is on July 7th of 2023, and 2023 is a 7-year. So 777 is a triple Stargate portal. And what happens on these Stargate portals is that our planet aligns with certain planets' frequencies and brings in the, with certain star system frequencies from our galaxy, and brings in the energies of those star systems into our planetary atmosphere. So what's happening is that we're about to make a jump. And with these stellar activation cycles, the chakras of the planet are getting activated, our DNA is getting activated.
The vortices, the portals, the ley lines, everything's getting activated.
And you guys may have noticed your telepathy is activating, your psychic senses are activating, you're becoming more sensitive to the energies around you. So you may notice that you're going through rapid evolutionary changes. You are the evidence. Your own life is the evidence. We're all going through it. We're all feeling it. We're all experiencing it. And we're seeing that we're evolving within a year what would take a normal species like hundreds, if not thousands, if not multiple, like tens of thousands of years to evolve. We're doing that in a very short span, and our lives are also rapidly moving forward. So basically our DNA is already evolving. It's activating all of its junk DNA strands, which were actually mutated DNA. Junk DNA was basically the parts of our DNA that were shut off by the false gods that control the planet. But now, with all these photonic energies coming from the sun, with all these stellar activation cycles and various star systems and star races assisting us, sending us gamma wave frequencies, healing frequencies, theta frequencies, all of these frequencies are repairing our damaged DNA. So there will come a point in our evolution where enough of humanity will have activated their DNA strands to the point where we can make a jump in our consciousness. And we believe what we've been told by our guides is that this jump is imminent. This will happen in our lifetime.
Yes, shortly in our lifetime.
And in our lifetime, we will see one of two things. A, you could be in a situation where your body is too frail, too old, too diseased, and you're still on the Ascension list. So what will happen to those kind of people? If you're very elderly, and if you are frail, your body is not holding up, and you think these energies are going to overtake you, for these kind of people, you have nothing to fear, because you are an eternal soul. If your soul is on the list for ascension, you're going to ascend. It doesn't matter if your body withers away. It doesn't matter. We're so attached to these bodies that we think this is what we are,
and we're so attached to life and death.
Yeah, we're attached to just this particular existence because this is all we know. But what happens is when our body passes away, when our body can't take it anymore and it just says, I'm done, your spirit is exactly the same. Your memories are intact.
And in fact, your spirit is more shiny, because guess what? Once you go back, let's say, even if you have a frail body and you have to leave this earth reality, so what? Your spirit, literally, it feels like, what does death feel like? We've been shown this by our guides. It literally feels like you wake up and you're like, oh my God, that's my body right there. holy shit, that's my body right there. And your angels are all there saying, we're here to take you home. So it feels a bit of a shock watching your loved ones around you and whatnot. But as soon as your spirit leaves you at the time of death, it actually is the most exhilarating, joyful feeling. That's not the topic of this video, but it's...
Our guides have told us that the process of death actually feels like taking a very tight old shoe off. It's like, it just feels like a relief.
As
like
soon as you die.
Suddenly you feel expanded. So there's one case for people who have disease and are suffering and are not going to carry their bodies with them into this ascension. But their soul will definitely ascend. Their soul will come back into New Earth in their 30-year-old version. We'll be able to literally, we'll have all of our DNA strands activated eventually. It may take a couple of years, it may take practice, but that ride is going to be very exciting because as we activate more and more of our strands, we're going to activate more and more of our power, gifts, and abilities.
And it's happening already before our very eyes.
Yeah, one of the first things that we're going to experience after we make the shift into New Earth, we're going to realize that we can change our body just with the power of our mind. We will literally experiment with our bodies and say, look, you'll be looking at yourself in the mirror in the 5th dimension and you'll realize, hey, if I wanted bigger biceps, I can just think of it and it is. So we'll be making all kinds of changes to our looks.
As long as you've done the work in the 3D.
Yeah, you'll have to go through all the cycles.
What does that mean?
Trials,
as long as you've done the work in the 3D, meaning let's say you're really skinny and your guidance is to go to the gym or activate your DNA, activate your muscles, get into this strength and core training.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'll just go to 5D and imagine biceps and get it. It's not, that's not how it happens. You have to do the work now. That's why now it feels like an open arena of magic, because the more work, inner work we do in evolving ourselves now, the more benefits, the more merits, the more badges of honor we will have in 5D.
And it's not just that, it's actually, all of us are not going to make the jump to the 5th dimension at the same time.
Right.
Many of us will stay behind in this 3D, 4D kind of twilight zone, which is not a real planet. It's not a real existence. It'll be like a holding place or a virtual hologram that's a training place until you make the shift to the 5th dimension. And all these people who have not yet...
Explain that a bit more.
So basically, once this New Earth arrives, once this 5D energy arrives on Earth and Earth is full bloom and ascended planet, there will be 2 versions of the planet coexisting. One will be the people who are still in fear and are holding on to the old beliefs patterns of the 3rd dimension, and there will be the middle people who are kind of like aware that there is a spiritual dimension, that there is a new Earth, that they have to ascend and they have to work towards releasing all of their shadows and traumas in order to get there. And then people who have done most of the inner work,
the way showers.
People who have done their shadow work, they're the way showers, they're helping others, and they're really focusing inwards, they're not projecting blame on others. These are the people who are going to be spearheading into the 5th dimension first. So there's going to be many waves. Our whole planet will not ascend in one wave. There'll be many waves of ascension, and the ones who have done the homework will get to experience New Earth first, and will literally come back. Yeah, it'll be a party, and we'll literally come back into this other dimension. It will literally come back from the New Earth into this 3rd and 4th dimension and try to teach people, hey guys, this is what you have to do. It gets so exciting.
This is actually how it happens. When you're in New Earth, you'll actually be a teacher demonstrating what it's like in 5D. So it'll actually be a visual experience where people say, holy shit, I'm not staying here anymore. I want to get there. I want to fly like this person. I want to manifest like this person.
We will be able to fly, teleport. We can have many magical gifts and abilities. We can manifest anything we desire at will. And it'll be a completely different reality. We won't even need technology in that reality.
And I want to also touch on, Siman, let's also touch on the fact that New Earth, everybody asks, okay, does this Earth just one day become New Earth? Like, how does it happen? Or do we just create New Earth? What we've been shown is literally, this has happened on many planets where the planet ascends. What we've been constantly shown is there will be a day, it'll happen in many stages, but for the first wavers, like for the way showers, we've been shown that there'll be a day when there's literally a
A flash.
a flash that will change everything. These frequencies will come into Earth and it'll engulf everybody, and many people will just be knocked out and then wake up and everything's normal. But for some of us, and we've been told that we and many of you guys are on the first wave. I wouldn't say many of you guys, but those of you who are doing your work, I would say at least 10% of our audience, the really serious ones, and anybody can join that spot, meaning all you have to do is work on yourself. Put your soul evolution above everything right now, because you know the metaphor that's coming in. Let's say you knew that you were about to receive a lead role in one of the best Hollywood movies of this entire on this planet, like ever made. And you were told that all you have to do is prepare for that lead role. All you have to do is work on your ego, work on your triggers, work on your pain body, work on your emotional body. Just put spirituality above everything. Make that your obsession, in a way that you're always thinking, how can I make myself a better person? How can I improve myself? How can I serve? How can I give back? How can I love more? And most importantly, how can I go from my head to my heart? How can I activate my heart? For those of you who are doing that, it literally feels like you are preparing for that movie, the Ascension blockbuster, that right now is the cutting edge of where the universe sits. Literally what's happening on Earth is going to affect all the dimensions. It's going to create a domino effect, and it'll affect the universe. So get on the train now, get on the wagon now, and let go of all limiting beliefs of death. Let go of all limiting beliefs that there is an expiration date on you. Because once you let go of this expiration date concept, you will start realizing and activating at a very different level that you are an eternal being, and in this lifetime you have the option of going big in your soul's expansion. So let go of all the limiting beliefs of death and welcome ascension frequencies into your lives.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to touch on is, somebody asked what happens to the dome that we've been living under. And that's a very good question, because what they're referring to is this reincarnational trapping system that's been existing in this planet for 25,000 years. And this reincarnational trapping system is very real. The gods, the so-called controlling gods of humanity, have very high extraterrestrial technology. They have the technology to move planets. Like, they can literally shift the orbit of a planet from one position to another. They can literally place a moon in orbit. They say our actual moon is a satellite that was placed there, and
No, it's not you.
Our actual moon was actually a satellite that was towed into orbit of Earth. And within the moon, it is said, and I kind of resonate with this. I haven't confirmed this with my own guidance, but I do resonate with this, that the reincarnational trapping system has something to do with our moon. So, when you die physically and your soul departs your body, the first thing the soul sees is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. That light is the reincarnational trapping system, and it kind of pulls you in with the idea that you're going to heaven, or you're going to go see your beloved ones, and then you're going to ascend to heaven and have a everlasting joyous life in heaven.
That's what religions teach you.
That's what we've been taught. But what actually happens is that this reincarnational trapping system just puts you in this hologram where they make you believe that your guides are having a conference call with you, and that they review all the things that you have not done well in this life, and that you're still a bad person. And they say, well, you got to repay this karma and go back, and you have no choice. And next thing you know, you're born again. So that's one of the reasons they want to keep the human lifespans very short. Once you're past your age of productivity, which is like 60, 70, the bankers or the people in power, the governments and all these institutions that harness our power through our employment, through the energy we give into the system of the matrix, we're actually the batteries of this matrix, keeping the system alive by constantly pouring our efforts,
and
our
resources.
soul energy, all of our time at work. We hardly get to see our families. We're basically feeding the system. We're the batteries. Without us, the matrix would collapse. It needs souls to power it up. So they want to keep our lifespans as short as possible, because once we're past our age of productivity, which is 60, 70, then we become a liability to the matrix. We basically are not producing, we're not working, we're just drawing from the healthcare, we're just drawing and living like a vegetable pretty much, and taking all these pharmaceuticals, making the healthcare industry richer. But they don't want that. They want us to like
Cut
physically
off.
die after we're not productive anymore. They couldn't care less about us. So this sounds very bad, but this is reality, unfortunately.
This is
We
our
just
reality.
speak the plain truth, and it's time for humanity to start speaking the plain truth. Like
Yes.
if we don't wake up now,
Yes.
guys, it's now or never.
Just speak your truth, and whoever does not resonate with your truth is not meant to be in your vibrational reality. And I can promise you, if you start speaking your truth and you have the balls, the courage, and the I don't give a shit, I'm speaking the truth for who I am. If you have that and just turn on as a light bulb and do more of that, I can assure you, in 1 year, your entire landscape will change. What do I mean by that? I literally mean by that, but in 1 year, all of a sudden, your whole landscape, your whole reality will be surrounded by people who think like you, who are like you, who have kind of the same beliefs, who are into love, who are into, the realization that we are all embodiments of the divine, they all speak the same language. So start associating with more of like-minded people, and the best way to do that is to speak your truth, so that anything and anyone not in alignment just withers away and leaves your vibrational reality, so you don't have to waste your time anymore with them.
Yeah, but I also wanted to end this on a very good note, because where our planet is right now, we're actually, like we said in the beginning of this video, we're actually entering one of the most exciting times in the history of humanity on this planet. This whole planet is about to make a jump into Ascension, which means all of this control matrix and reincarnational trapping systems, these have been disabled by forces of light. So we're no longer subject to this reincarnational trapping system. And our guides have also told us that if you happen to die, the first thing you should do, if you see that light that's trying to call your soul towards it to basically put you back in the system, instead of going to that light, you have 5 seconds. You have a 5-second window. Okay, this is a very high level information
And
from our
it'll
guides.
be easy. It'll be easy.
This
It
could
won't be
actually
hard.
save your soul. So pay attention to this. I'm not making this up. This is very important. When you die, you have a 5-second window to go directly back to Prime Creator with your will. You can call upon Archangel Michael within that 5-second window, or call upon any ascended master or being that you believe in is of the light. Call upon Jesus Christ, anyone you like. But basically within that 5 seconds of dying, before you go into, oh my God, what happened? And before you go into shock, you just call upon your angels and say,
Yes.
take me to Prime Creator.
Yes.
That's your sure shot way to cut through this reincarnational trap and go directly to Prime Source. You'll first be taken to the Pleiadian space station in Alcyone, which is of the light, and then you'll be basically mingling with the angels and ascended masters, and you won't have to come back to Earth.
And here's the good news for those of you thinking, oh my God, Siman, of course, like it's resonating, all of this, even if it's resonating, how am I going to remember this in 5 seconds? This is what I'm getting right now. What the guides are saying is reassure everybody that as long as you've dropped your limiting beliefs that religion is your only tool, and you understand that religion has been put into place as the institution, the corrupt institution of religion, to divide and rule, to separate the masses, divide them into groups, and divide and conquer. So when you have this realization at a DNA level, which most of you already do, because once you start your spiritual awakening, you can only go so far while also diving into religion. At one point, religion just stops to make sense, and that's not something you do from your head. It happens on a consciousness, on a vibrational level. So for those of you who are already, while you're alive, not even energizing the institution of religion, it's going to be so much easier, because when you go up there, you're going to have the same awareness that you do right now. So it's not going to be like a tricky situation where you have to call upon your angels. You'll just know. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to call upon Archangel Metatron. You know what I mean? But this is such a grand lifetime. Even though we're talking about death, we're talking about it in the most exciting way, that there is no such thing as death.
There is no such thing, because we are eternal beings, and everybody who's alive right now, like most people who are in their prime right now, are going to see Earth ascend. And this is what we all have to look forward to. And the way we ascend, the way we get there quicker, is by working on ourselves. So our body, our DNA contains so many mutations that it limits us from embodying a higher frequency of light. So once we let go of these limitations, once we work on our shadows and become lighter, and more light enters our body, we ourselves become that lightning rod that attracts that new earth frequency. So new earth does not happen to the entire planet at once. It happens to you as a bubble first. And we're seeing this in our own lives. Like with our own eyes, we've seen miracles. Because as we raise, EldoRa and I, we're single-minded about our ascension. We're always on the ascension train, and always thinking of new ways to up-level our game and raise our frequency and keep our vibe high. And this is what we teach. And what we've experienced is in our events, where we host gatherings, meditations, and sober dance parties with 144 people or so. We've done these in Tulum, Mexico. We've done this, where else?
Miami,
Croatia,
Miami.
Yeah. We've
Costa
literally,
Rica.
in Tulum, with the power of our prayers and intentions, cleared the ocean of seaweed.
Severe seaweed.
Within 3 days.
The whole of Tulum was talking about us. They're like, never ever before in May do we have one strip of the ocean with no seaweed. And
the entire city seaweed was cleared, not just one block.
And literally the people who were like our retreat centers, we have it on camera. They're like, guys, you made us believers.
We have footage.
We are believers.
Yeah, exactly. We have before and after footage.
We did it again in Croatia as well. In Croatia, in December, it's never beautiful to go in and swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
In December, on January 2nd, we had a water ceremony. Many people went in to swim in the ocean. Sunny skies, and the photographer, he's like, I am born and raised in Dubrovnik, Croatia, and I've never ever seen this. So why are we bringing this up? Believe in the miracles, because that is the only normal.
And also,
miracles are the norm.
This is also living proof that we are creating new earth with the power of our beliefs and intentions. So we're actually doing it, and we're at this level where our heads are just popping above the clouds, and we're beginning to see fragments of new earth appearing in our reality. So the more and more we do this, the more we embody new earth, and eventually we permanently live there.
This was such an amazing, spontaneous Facebook Live. We love you guys. We're actually going to upload this on YouTube now.
For sure.
For sure. The guys are like, make sure you put this on YouTube. Love you, family. Love you, Soul Fam. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. Please share this in all the Facebook groups that you know. Always share our videos, share the love. The more people that come into our soul family, the better. So let's just share. Let's just bring all these suckers who are ready to ascend, and all these people who are ready to work. Like, our kind of people, the ones who are thirsty for ascension and knowledge, the real knowledge. Let's magnetize the fuck out of them. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.